salute to the flag, and a silent prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Thanks again. First item on the agenda tonight is comments or announcements from town board members. Does anyone on the town board have anything to say at this point?
Two quick items here. We just completed the final week of the Malta Works 2021 promotion. And this was thanks to a generous grant from the the Global Foundries Town of Malta Foundation, a $5,000 grant awarded to Saratoga County Prosperity Partnership, and our Economic Development Committee and the Chamber worked with them on this project where spending $20.21 any restaurant or business in Malta, and you were entered into a drawing to win. At the conclusion of that program, sales associated with that promotion exceeded $36,000 in impact for local businesses. So really, really excited about it. And I guess it was a good concept we came up with because it's now being copied by our friends in Mechanicville and Stillwater. And they're doing the same thing over there. And thankfully, one of the really cool things that will come out of it to be able to carry forward the Malta Works brand with our small businesses while also helping them out a little bit with their staff is there was some money left over, and Prosperity Partnership is going to be producing Malta Works small business masks for our businesses to use. So printed masks with the Malta Works logo and a great saying of think global, shop local for businesses, and we'll have some for everyone here on the town council to help promote businesses here in Malta. Those will be forthcoming here in the next week and a half or so. So thank you for all you that went out and spent money in our small businesses, and you don't have to stop now, can keep doing it. But the promotion has now ended, and thank you for everyone to help make it a success.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Any other board members?
I actually, I went to the Malta Seniors meeting today, and I was asked to present a question to our great legal minds.
Uh-oh.
They are starting to plan trips again. And the question was that they're first of all, they're a private organization. And they want to know that if the membership votes to adopt a policy where members that are going on the trips have to be vaccinated, can they legally do that? Anybody have any opinion on that?
That's a question. That's a tough one. I don't have an opinion on it at this time.
Yeah.
It's in flux, and I think there's positions on both sides of it. So, it's not really something that off the cuff that we could give an opinion on. It would take some significant research, and that's my initial view.
Okay, like I said
unfortunately.
I would ask. They asked if I would ask if anybody had any insight on as to whether or not as a private organization.
Yeah, and
So, yeah, you don't know. Nobody-
yeah, I would have to, be engaged by that
Yeah.
private organization to
Yeah,
give a private opinion, and I'm not thinking it's the right forum to express any more of an
Yeah.
opinion at this time, but that is a hot button, hot potato issue.
They're talking about just vaccination, not either vaccination or a negative test?
Yeah, well, like I say, they like to take trips and basically it's the riding of the bus thing. They would like to be, well, I don't know. The membership hasn't actually voted on it, but they want to have a vote. And if the membership agrees, they want to require that the people that go on the trips be vaccinated. Maybe the membership won't agree, but I think most of them are vaccinated.
I think Kathy's done a really good job with vaccinations. But who knows? I mean, that's
Yeah. I don't know. I said I'd ask. So if anybody
close.
has any
It is,
insights or
too.
thoughts about it, then maybe tell Kathy.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, Darren, I noticed over the weekend, we were making progress with the Veterans Park out front. the two trees that were there in the way, they're gone.
Yep.
Who do we have to thank for that? Was our own crew that did that
Um,
highway?
I'm glad you asked that, Mark, because we were talking about that today and we sent out a note of thanks. We had a volunteer begin the job, but there was a problem through no fault of that volunteer. But he wasn't able to finish it. So Roger's team came in on Friday and took care of it. And it was a thing to behold. I mean, we were watching it and they just went out there and zip, 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 and they had those babies down. So they did a great job. And so, yes, we've sent, thanks to Roger's team for, pitching in and getting that done on Friday. So it looks great. They did a
That's
fantastic
good
job.
group. A lot of
Yep.
talent there doing that. So
Yeah.
thank you, Roger, and your boys.
Speaking about brush, it's my understanding that Sunday, May 9th, you have to have your twigs brush out at the household for the highway to be cleaning it up for you. March 9th. I
May 9th.
think
May
it-
9th.
Yeah, excuse me.
And
May 9th.
in keeping with the brush and tree theme, just a reminder that the burn ban that DEC has in place, the outdoor burn ban, expires, I believe, May 15th. So all of you who like to have big bonfires, May 16th is the day to do so.
Looking forward to that.
John, you gonna have one down there? Just curious.
Well, do you come down our way?
Every once in a while I get down that way.
Sometimes there's big smoke billowing in the sky.
And I hope everybody out there remembers June 5th and June 12th. We have the dumpsters at the Malta complex for people to bring stuff and dump them in there. If you're a town resident, it was very successful last year. And please make yourself available. And if you have a pickup and can help a friend who might have trouble getting stuff down here or might, have some disabilities or because of age has trouble doing it themselves, if you could help them out, that would be wonderful also. Okay. Comments or questions from town residents? Would anyone like to address the board? Kathy, how are you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm good. So just a little information about what Cynthia was talking about. We'll get to that in a minute. We did have 97 seniors with dinners from Ripe Tomato. So that was great. Ripe Tomato always does a wonderful job. If you haven't eaten at Ripe Tomato, you got to get yourself there because they do a wonderful job. So we had that. We had a great meeting, I believe around 30 seniors today, and Deborah Verney provided information about senior scams, and again, did a wonderful job with that. So very happy about that. If seniors do need to have something taken to the dump, we have somebody who has a trailer and pickup. So let us know. About the mask and vaccines, I've kind of checked into it, and we can't do anything that is higher than is required statewide. So I'm not sure vaccines are really that you have to have a vaccine to participate. We'll have that discussion, but the rule is 6 feet or a mask. So, and the bus company has their guidelines. They put in new filters, and the venues were going to have their guidelines. So we'll follow those. But I wasn't at the meeting, so I wasn't able to participate in that conversation. My team did a great job in my absence, and I'll be back later this month.
They did, Kathy. You'd be proud. Everyone did a
I-
really
I
good job.
am.
It was a good meeting and a lot of information was exchanged. And so you'd be
I-
proud of your team.
I'm
I'd
very
also-
proud, very proud.
I'd also like some of you already know and have spoken to Kathy, but Kathy, I believe you lost a sister here, and certainly on my behalf and the town board,
Thank you.
you and your family have all of our condolences for the loss of a dear person in your life.
She was an amazing woman, and my big sis, only 2 years older than me, but we had a really good day today. I and her significant other were able to get almost all the details done, and she would have been proud of us. So thank you very much. I
Wow.
appreciate it. And I feel so blessed to have a team at the Malta Seniors that I felt full comfort in leaving. So, but thank you so much for your condolences.
Well, if she was anything like you, she was, a super person. So.
No, we take after mama. What can I say?
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Other comments, questions from town residents? Okay, we're not seeing any hands up at the moment, but you'll have another opportunity a little bit later in the meeting. So keep your questions ripe for us. Okay, we'll get to old business. The first item on the action agenda for tonight is to adopt Chapter 115 and Chapter 88 Code Amendment. These amendments make some changes during times of emergencies like we're in now, where restaurants cannot maintain full capacity and have trouble, bringing the income in, and it relaxes a little bit on the noise ordinances in terms of time and amount, and cuts down on the fees.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next item on the agenda is to set the public hearing for the Malta Ambulance Special Improvement District.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item on the agenda is set the date for the public hearing for Chapter 139, Streets and Sidewalks. And incidentally, these public hearings for May 24th, which is the next meeting of our board. These amendments change the effective date of the local law pertaining to the High Point neighborhood. And so that's to give them more time before that change actually takes effect, so that the town can, make some repairs on those sidewalks before they're taking effect.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Are we confident that our work is going to be done by that date? As I've gotten older, time has gotten faster. Are we confident we'll be done?
I'm not so sure I could go as far as to say confident. I think there's a very good chance, because we want to get started on it this summer, and we'll also have, a bunch of next summer. But I think the idea is that it's subject to extension. I think we even put that in the resolution, should the repairs not be made by then. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next item on the agenda is to set a public hearing for a proposed change to the zoning law. And this, it pertains to a presentation we had last time to have a dog boarding facility on Route 9, just north of here.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item on the agenda is to approve the land conveyance to the New York State Police. We looked into it pursuant to our discussion last time. Unfortunately, the state police is not at liberty to enter a 99-year lease or any other arrangement than a conveyance. That's too bad. And they, State Police Counsel's office expressed their apologies for not being able to do that, but indeed they can't. And so the choice before us is to convey the land to the state police or not. And the conveyance would be for the purpose of keeping the state police here in the town. It's an ideal location. And so this resolution would approve that land conveyance to the state police.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Question, please.
Yeah.
As all of the folks in this room know, at one time, I knew a lot of things, but I've forgotten most of them. One of the things I seem to have tucked away and lost partially is the obligation of state agencies to comply with local land use laws. My recollection is there's, kind of this general, notion in the law that as the sovereign, they're exempt, but that there might be executive orders or something in place that that require some effort of compliance. I I'm supportive of having them there. But I would hope that there would be some kind of town role in, the way the site is developed. Because they, will abut residential property in the rear. Darren, as a DSP counsel, do you recall, or AG, former assistant AG, do you remember this issue at all?
Not in particular. In fact, when I was at the state police, it was, they were doing it a little bit differently. They were leasing it out, and doing the whole kind of land conveyance a little bit differently, but I don't remember the particulars. I know that I seem to have the same kind of vague understanding of it as you do, in terms of a sovereign not being technically subject, but nevertheless trying to comply. And, that would certainly hold true here in terms of our discussions with them. When we met with them, we were talking about an entrance on this road or this road and how that would be, and, how the traffic would flow, what the effect on the neighborhoods would be. So, I mean, I certainly think it's their intent, to work with the town and make sure that they, they're not offending the neighborhood.
Is the timing of their plans such that you might influence that process as a supervisor and former DSP counsel?
I think so. I mean, I still know the people at council's office, so certainly for the next 8 months, I hope to be able to do that, but
I would be appreciative if you
Yeah.
would, in the process of letting them know, kind of either get confirmation that they are going to comply with the process, or, as a matter of complying with an executive order or something, but, or some kind of good faith representation that they're going to be open to hearing, what concerns our, land use board might have about the site plan or our planning department. Thank you.
I'll definitely do that.
Darren, do we have a timeline as to when they expect to start anything? I mean, they haven't designed anything even at this point, right?
We
As far
don't,
as you know?
we don't.
Submitted something to us.
They sent a
Site plan.
concept, kind of a concept
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, they don't have, I mean, their barracks are, fit a mold. I mean, they don't have huge variances, they have certain requirements that they need to do. And so, I don't know that it'll be too long. I know they want to get moving. I'm not sure when their lease expires on Route 9, so I'm not sure this precise timeline.
Darren, a quick Google search shows that the 1988 case of matter of the County of Monroe versus the City of Rochester established a method for resolving intergovernmental land use disputes where, unless a statute exempts it, governmental union is presumed to be subject to zoning regulations of the host community where the land is located.
That is a landmark case. And Jamie probably even knows about it, that test in there, but it wouldn't apply to the state of New York. That's as between two municipal corporations.
This guidance from Department of State seems to indicate that it does.
That the state of New York is subject to that analysis.
Before 1988, New York courts recognized certain entities had absolute immunity from zoning regulations, including
Right.
federal and state government, state urban development corporation, public schools. However, it appears as though the Court of Appeals established a new method in 1988 unless statute exempts it.
Yeah, I've not heard that
I will
applicable to state
allow the-
agencies, but,
Much smarter people on this topic that
right.
you may want to look at that.
Well, I'll definitely look into that, and,
further
we have the authorization to sign it, but it doesn't have to be signed. So I will talk to the state police, and, I'm pretty confident that they'll be playing ball here.
Yeah.
Jamie, is this in the part of the code, form-based code? Right, so the process would be even more, it's already set forth that they're gonna cooperate, it's gonna be through the planning department. And, the guidelines for building there are, fairly set forth significantly within the form-based code, so that may also be something, Darren, that we want to discuss with them, that, that's what we have in that zone, and, just to get them on board.
Okay, that sounds good, Steve.
It certainly
Alrighty.
seems big enough for them to be able to fit in a barracks without, too much trouble, so.
Any other discussion on this resolution, on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And incidentally, Mayor, I meant to tell you that we will send you a copy of that resolution on the ambulance district. So we'll get that out to you, maybe not tonight, but or first thing tomorrow morning. Okay, the next item
Thank
on the
you.
agenda. You're very welcome. The next item on the agenda is to renew the agreement with CDTA for traffic mitigation fee calculations. They've been doing this for us and for many other municipalities, I think, for a long time. They basically help with the difficult and complicated calculation to figure out, what the traffic mitigation is going to be for a given development.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next item on the agenda is to give the town board's consent for the 5K and 10K race over on the campus on September 11th.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item on our agenda is the service award program. We have this as a recurring matter.
So
This-
moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next item is to accept the Controller's Justice Court reports.
So moved.
second,
Discussion? These are reports that the controller does for all departments to make sure that everything is on a sound footing financially in our various departments, and the Justice Court certainly are. And so with no other further discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item on the agenda is to accept the amended Highway 284 agreement, and this is because there was additional money in our budget for various reasons other than anticipated when the budget was calculated, and we are going to be able to, or Roger's going to be able to do a couple of other roads in terms of paving.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is our Highway Safety Advisory Committee. There are two items. Anthony Perone, who was the chair after Woody Sloat had to step down because he became a judge. Graham Bailey would be the chair. Anthony Perone will stay on the committee, and we're very thankful to him for that, but he just does not have the time to be chair. Graham Bailey has offered to step in, and I think he'd be, wonderful in that position. And they've also asked that we add Stanley G as a member of the committee. This resolution would take those two steps.
I don't see that resolution.
I don't either.
You have that resolution?
We go right to budget transfers.
There was a separate, I thought that was sent in a separate email. Let me pull it up. Give me a minute.
Stanley G
Okay, yeah,
here.
yeah,
let me-
that it is. It's in the folder. Let me see. Class 84.
Stanley G, maybe we could just pass that down after you look at it.
Oh, yeah.
This says it has it in here, but I'm not seeing the actual resolution.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll read you the resolution.
No, I just see the
Um,
resume.
It is resolved, the town board of the town of Malta be and hereby appoints Stanley G as a member of the Town Highway Safety Advisory Committee for the remainder of 2021 until the January 2022 organizational committee to serve at the pleasure of the town board. And further resolved that the town board of the town of Malta be and hereby appoints Graham Bailey as chair of the Town Highway Safety Advisory Committee for the remainder of 2021 until the January 2022 organizational committee to serve at the pleasure of the town board.
Do you need a
Take a
motion?
couple of minutes while.
I
people
would
have-
so move.
Second.
Okay, discussion. I just want to make sure everybody's had a chance to look at Stanley G's resume documents.
Oh, he's in with me. He's got two dogs.
I think he'd be an outstanding addition.
Yeah,
He's got tremendous
looks-
experience in the state.
More than qualified.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Um, Next item on the agenda is budget transfers. Kevin, we have a few of them this time. Anybody have any questions for Kevin? Well, I guess we'll make a motion, then we'll discuss. Do we have a motion for these?
I'll move the resolution.
Do we have a
Second.
Discussion? Okay.
And just, Kevin, if you could, there's a number here, so if you could just walk through.
Did you have something specific, Tim, or all of them?
Well, I just, there's quite a few large ones here, so if you
All
could
right,
just
well,
kind of give a.
The first section is providing the necessary transfers to cover the retroactive pay adjustments that the town board approved at the March meeting. So
Okay.
that's
Got it.
the
Oh, those.
whole first slew of them,
Right.
all involving payroll. CHIPS aid for 68,000 is relating to what you just approved, relating to Rogers, section 284 agreement, amending that. And then the next one relating to the High Point Walkways capital project, that's establishing the capital project that you authorized for the work last meeting
Got it.
to get forward, moving forward. So there's roughly $67,000 that we're able to commit from prior years and currently towards that project to get it going.
Okay.
Okay,
What's the bikeway?
that's where the most of the money was being captured.
Oh, okay.
Was in the bikeway. Now I'm moving it into a specific capital project, saying it's the High Point Pathway Project.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other discussion or questions for Kevin? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is not an action item, it's just a discussion. We've had communications with Christine Connolly at Slipid and other towns. Slipid is going to make an attempt to work with the legislature to allow it a little more power to control the water quality of Saratoga Lake. And the towns are in discussion with Slipid. I've discussed this, contacted Ed Kanowski in Stillwater and Tom Wood up in Saratoga. There certainly is a lot of reason to, allow for that kind of control. So we have to balance that against the need of the towns to, formulate their own stormwater rules, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to alert the board that this was out there and, just kind of open it up for anyone who has any particular thoughts about this general topic.
Do you have the city involved in those discussions? as well?
Yeah, Saratoga Springs is also.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I know it's something that's been discussed for a while. And that's been one of the pushback has always been, well, Slipid doesn't really have the teeth to be able to do some of the things that some suggest that they might want to. We all know that, on a regular basis, we're seeing challenges with the quality of the water and, they're certainly not going to see the throttle taken off on development pressure on the lakefront. So I think it's a great idea and I'm glad to see you taking the bull by the horns here, Darren. So kudos.
What exactly kind of legislative powers are we talking about?
Lake George, I think, has a commission that, has additional powers. And, I don't know that Slipid is looking for something that's coextensive with that, but just something like, for example, you can bring a boat in at one point without a washing and another point it has to have a washing, for things like that to control invasive species getting into the lake, various stormwater issues, et cetera. So they just wanted to be able to coordinate since there are other, 4 jurisdictions, dealing with it. In addition to the county. So I think they were looking at those kind of things.
I would assume that once these discussions take place, something will come back to us with a home rule request.
Yeah. I think the towns and the county will be weighing in with the legislature.
Did I understand it's water quality generally, or did I hear you say stormwater or is it?
Well, stormwater as it relates to the water quality of the lake. Yeah.
they already have some control over the water itself, right? The
Yeah.
water quality, but they don't have any say in like projects, like, you know, so I guess that's what I wonder is are we talking about them having a voice in projects in the town of Malta or?
I don't know. I mean, one of the issues, we haven't seen a specific set of
Okay.
proposals yet.
So-
This is just a very,
Right.
very general discussion that they were having with, town representatives. Nothing in writing, no formal proposal,
Mhm.
just to kind of take the temperature of the towns.
Yeah, again, like Tim says, I think, if we can all work, I think somehow as municipalities, we all need to work together
Yeah.
to try to, protect the integrity of the lake and if Slip It is the vehicle for us to be able to do that, then, I'm at least open to listening.
It's encouraging progress.
Yeah.
Darren, if
And
I may add, in terms of, from within the town, at the town level, myself, my committee, the Oats Committee, we have talked about, this type of thing affecting lake quality, the water quality for some time now, over a year and a half. And primarily focus on different land uses for the watershed, the Drummond Creek corridor, to name a few. And I think that this type of action is welcome. In fact, I know it's welcome because we've been pushing for it for some time now. And there's only so much, as you know, we can do, short of telling landowners, property owners what they can do with their property, which not in favor of that by any stretch, nor do I think the town board is. So this is a welcome sight to see that someone else wants to get involved in at a higher level to make things happen, so that it takes a little bit of the work off of our shoulders, so to speak. So I think this is phenomenal.
Okay, thank you.
I would, not that something doesn't need to be done, but the details are important. Lake George has basically now a state agency that regulates, the lake. And has their own set of enforceable regulations. So, if you're looking for a reaction from me, it really depends on what the thing is, because the Lake George Park Commission is it's like the APA of the lake, so it's its own agency with fairly robust regulations and funded with, full-time professional staff. So I'm certainly willing to listen to what the proposal is, but the details will be important.
Okay, that sounds great. I think kind of what I'd like to do, the next step would be to, to bring Christina in to one of our meetings and, address the board and answer some questions. So I'll suggest that to her once she gets a little bit more refined in her proposals.
That sounds great.
Okay. Other business? Any other business for the board? Any other comments or questions from town residents for the board on any subject? Yes.
Good evening. Thank you for the time. Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor, Town Board. Travis Feely.
Okay, Travis, I thought that was you. I just
Yeah.
didn't recognize you with the mask on. So welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here in person. Finally fully vaccinated, which I have to say the VA was amazingly efficient. So if you're a veteran and have that healthcare, please go check them out. They're super quick with it. But the reason I'm up here is the Rotary team. We're looking at possibly doing a disc golf tournament over at Shenandoah Park, which I know the board has been involved with in getting that up and running. So thank you for that. But we're under the impression that the town has agreed to help with setting up and cleaning up the tee boxes for the course. And I was just wondering if you're aware of that or kind of what the status of that is.
Alyssa, are you on?
I'm here.
Can you address Travis's question?
Yep. So right now I'm waiting to get quotes for stone and pavers, which pavers are really hard to come by. So I have all the 4x4s bought earlier this year to make the tee pads. So the next step is getting the pavers and the stone, and then hopefully getting some volunteers along with the town maintenance crew to construct those tee pads.
Is there any possible timeline, Alyssa, when that might happen?
I don't know.
Well,
As
It's
soon as I
okay saying you don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm working on it and hoping to move it forward. That's always on my to-do list to keep pushing, but I don't have a timeline in mind.
When,
Perfect, thank
any
you.
idea when Rotary was planning to maybe have the,
We're looking probably later in June or sometime in July. Give time for the ground to kind of dry up and
Settle.
not be so muddy.
Yeah.
But if possible, we can get it done by then, that'd be amazing. But obviously, if not, we'll find a way to make it happen.
Okay, that sounds great.
Thank you.
Great idea. Thank you, Travis. Any other comments or questions from town residents? No hands up? Okay, I think we're good. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
second?
Discussion?
Somebody else second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much for coming, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye
Thank
now.
you.
I do want to note, this is not a record.
Yeah.
We had a